The academic peer review system was designed to ensure the quality and integrity of scientific research, but does it actually stifle innovation and slow progress? Many scientists argue that it prioritizes conformity over bold new ideas, encourages safe, incremental research, and penalizes those who challenge existing theories. Could it be that the very system meant to uphold scientific rigor is hindering groundbreaking discoveries instead? Imagine a scientist with a radical new idea, perhaps an unconventional theory about quantum biology, dark matter, or an unknown law of physics. Instead of receiving open-minded feedback, their paper is rejected outright because it does not fit the established framework of knowledge. Reviewers, who are often deeply invested in the dominant theories, may be unwilling to accept data that contradicts their own work. This creates a scientific culture where only minor, predictable advancements are rewarded, while truly original ideas are either ignored or branded as too speculative. History is full of examples of paradigm-shifting discoveries that were initially ridiculed or suppressed. When Alfred Wegener proposed continental drift, leading geologists dismissed the idea as absurd. Decades later, it became the foundation of plate tectonics. When Barbara McClintock discovered jumping genes, her findings were rejected by geneticists until they were proven correct years later. If these scientists had been forced to compromise their ideas to fit existing models, would we ever have uncovered these fundamental truths? One of the biggest flaws in the peer review system is its bias towards safe, incremental research. Scientists know that journals favor papers that confirm existing theories rather than challenge them. This leads to a flood of studies that slightly refine well-known concepts rather than presenting bold, transformative ideas. Funding agencies, which often rely on publication metrics, further incentivize researchers to play it safe rather than take the risks that drive real progress. As a result, entire scientific fields can become stagnant, where scientists are effectively required to publish variations of what is already known just to maintain their careers. Another major issue is the fear of reputation damage. In today's academic world, a scientist who publishes a controversial or disruptive idea risks their entire career. If their theory is later proven wrong, they may lose credibility permanently, even though being wrong is a fundamental part of the scientific process. This fear discourages scientists from publishing hypotheses that challenge orthodoxy, even if they are based on sound logic and experimental evidence. Instead of embracing uncertainty as a driver of discovery, the system punishes those who take intellectual risks. Perhaps the most dangerous aspect of the peer review gatekeeping is that it can delay crucial breakthroughs. Imagine if a potential cure for a major disease were developed but rejected by leading medical journals simply because it contradicted existing models of disease progression. Or consider climate science and energy research. What if viable solutions to environmental crises are being overlooked because they challenge conventional wisdom? The cost of rejecting unconventional but valid science could be catastrophic for society. This raises an important question: how can we reform the peer review system to encourage real scientific progress instead of suppressing it? Some propose double-blind reviews, where both authors and reviewers remain anonymous, reducing bias. Others suggest open peer review, where reviews are published alongside the paper, making the process more transparent. Some advocate for alternative publication platforms, such as preprint servers and decentralized scientific networks, where radical ideas can be explored freely before facing scrutiny. What if science moved away from a publish or perish model and toward a system that valued original thinking and long-term impact over citation counts and journal rankings? If we want to truly advance human knowledge, we must stop punishing intellectual risk-taking and create a culture where scientists feel safe to explore the unknown, even when it challenges everything we think we know. The academic peer review system was originally designed to ensure quality control by having experts evaluate the validity of new research. However, in practice, it often prioritizes confirmatory studies over groundbreaking ideas, ensuring that only research fitting within established paradigms gets published. Reviewers, consciously or unconsciously, favor research that supports existing theories and reject radical new ideas as too speculative or unproven. This results in a self-reinforcing cycle where scientific knowledge expands incrementally but struggles to undergo transformative breakthroughs. Many revolutionary scientific ideas, such as plate tectonics, quantum mechanics, and heliocentrism, were initially rejected by the scientific establishment. This is like a music competition where only familiar songs are allowed, while experimental compositions are dismissed as too unconventional. Academic careers are built on citation metrics, funding, and reputation, making researchers hesitant to publish unconventional work that might be dismissed. Scientists who challenge dominant theories often face career consequences, including difficulty securing funding, invitations to conferences, or even tenure. The fear of negative reviews and rejection discourages researchers from exploring high-risk, high-reward ideas that could reshape scientific disciplines. The result is an academic environment where safe, predictable, and incremental research thrives while disruptive innovation struggles. Barry Marshall and Robin Warren, who discovered that H. pylori bacteria cause stomach ulcers, faced years of rejection because medical dogma held that stress was the primary cause. This is like a startup investor who only funds businesses that copy existing successful models, rejecting new ideas that could revolutionize industries. A significant portion of published research, particularly in fields like psychology and biomedicine, fails replication tests, highlighting fundamental issues in academic publishing. Journals prefer positive, novel results over negative findings or replication studies, encouraging researchers to manipulate data for statistical significance. Many groundbreaking but controversial discoveries remain unverified or unpublished because they challenge established knowledge. The result is a widening gap between actual scientific progress and what gets disseminated through official academic channels. The Stanford prison experiment and the ego depletion theory, once highly cited, have failed replication, yet many journals resist publishing contradictory evidence. This is like a cooking recipe book that only includes successful experiments but refuses to acknowledge failed attempts, leading to unrealistic expectations. Funding agencies, including government grants and private foundations, prioritize research with predictable outcomes and immediate applications over speculative, high-risk projects. Since funding success depends on peer-reviewed publication records, researchers shape proposals to align with existing expectations rather than pioneering new frontiers. This leads to a conservative funding loop, where research proposals must appear feasible and aligned with previous studies rather than seeking disruptive breakthroughs. The result is a system where transformational discoveries take decades to gain recognition. Quantum mechanics received limited funding in its early years because its implications seemed impractical. Today, quantum computing is an emerging multi-billion-dollar industry. This is like a film studio only investing in sequels and remakes because original ideas seem too risky. The anonymity of peer review creates an imbalance of power, allowing established scientists to suppress competition or reject conflicting theories with little accountability. Reviewers may block novel research that contradicts their own work, sometimes using vague criticisms like "not significant enough" or "requires further validation," without offering constructive feedback. In some cases, reviewers steal innovative ideas from submitted manuscripts before rejecting them or publishing similar work themselves. This makes peer review a potential tool for scientific gatekeeping rather than objective evaluation. Multiple Nobel Prize-winning discoveries, including CRISPR gene editing, were initially rejected by journals due to skepticism from established experts. This is like a referee in a sports match who prevents new players from entering the field to maintain dominance of the existing team. While peer review is presented as an objective and rigorous process, it is fundamentally subjective and influenced by biases, personal opinions, and power dynamics. Studies show that peer reviewers frequently disagree on the same manuscript, indicating that acceptance often depends on luck and personal bias rather than merit. Some fields even experience citation cartels, where groups of researchers mutually cite and review each other's work to boost publication metrics. These systemic flaws weaken scientific progress by prioritizing social dynamics over scientific innovation. A meta-analysis of peer-review studies found that top-tier journals often reject groundbreaking research which later gains widespread acceptance in lower-impact journals. This is like a job interview, where success depends more on who you know than on actual skills and experience. The rise of open access journals, preprint servers, and decentralized peer review offers a potential alternative to traditional publishing. Platforms like RxBio, BioRxiv, and ResearchGate allow researchers to share findings without editorial restrictions, enabling faster dissemination of new ideas. Open peer review models, where reviews are publicly available, improve transparency and accountability in the evaluation process. However, resistance from established academic institutions and funding bodies slows the transition toward a more open and democratic scientific process. The development of COVID-19 vaccines was accelerated through open data sharing rather than the traditional slow-moving peer review system. This is like replacing a gated library with an open knowledge network, where everyone has access to information instantly. For true progress, science must embrace intellectual risk-taking and allow researchers to explore unorthodox ideas without fear of career repercussions. Academic institutions should support high-risk, high-reward research funding models rather than emphasizing short-term publication metrics. Creating alternative platforms where scientists can publish early-stage ideas, theoretical explorations, and negative results would encourage a more diverse research ecosystem. By removing bureaucratic barriers, we can accelerate discoveries that redefine scientific understanding. The Manhattan Project and the Human Genome Project succeeded because they were not constrained by conventional peer review limitations. This is like allowing artists to experiment freely rather than forcing them to paint only within established styles. To escape the stagnation caused by the peer review system, science must adopt a more dynamic, interdisciplinary, and collaborative publishing approach, a system that prioritizes idea exchange over rigid approval processes would facilitate faster breakthroughs and allow for more cross-disciplinary insights. AI-powered peer review models could help reduce human bias, while decentralized blockchain-based publishing could enhance transparency and credit allocation. The future of scientific progress depends on a fundamental shift toward openness, adaptability, and intellectual diversity. Some researchers have proposed a decentralized, reputation-based peer review system where contributions are evaluated in real time by the global scientific community. This is like switching from a bureaucratic government to a self-regulating society where knowledge flows freely based on merit rather than hierarchy.